Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I've been seeing what's been happening out there. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe for me, please. You can see it displayed here. Atlanta's net worth in 2019 was $45,000, and by 2025, it reached $30 million. The congressional salary stands at $174,000 annually, which represents a 66% or $66,000 jump since 2019. The question is, how can this be? I won't sugarcoat it. This is absolutely insane. No doubt about it, it's wild. Now, I need to say sorry for posting this video later than usual. Most of you are aware that I'm living in Indiana, and you know the IU game is literally playing on every screen in my home right now. I'm not sure who you're rooting for, but I'm genuinely proud of those guys, those young men, I mean. Speaking of crazy things happening, there's what's going on with Ilhan Omar. Stephen Miller just released what could be the most significant fraud exposure in American history. From what I've been seeing reported multiple times, Ilhan Omar is right at the center of everything, with some calling her the mastermind behind it all.
Believe that the Somali fraud operation in Minnesota is the single greatest theft of taxpayer dollars through welfare fraud in American history. We believe that we have only scratched the very top of the surface of how deep this goes. And you're familiar with all the scams with pretending that children have autism who are not in fact autistic, with pretending to enroll people in food programs when in fact nobody was ever enrolled, and engaging in massive fraud, lying, and theft and grift on a scale we've never seen before in American history. The total bill, the total tab for this is going to be far beyond the numbers we've already seen reported. We believe the state government is fully complicit in this scheme, and we believe that what we are going to uncover is going to shock the American people. Look, based on the records that we already have, and this is a significant undercount, by the way, 75% of the Somali population in Minnesota is on welfare. But that's likely a significant undercount of just how much of a financial burden the Somali refugee population is imposing on this country.
Seriously, now I'm telling you all, here's the thing. More and more information is going to surface every single day. I'm already noticing how much is being revealed on a daily basis, and I know you're seeing it too. Honestly, I think it's only going to get more intense. Look at this right here. Investigators are currently examining Omar's potential role in Minnesota's Somali fraud scandal. The response says, excellent, even more justification to remove her from Congress, revoke her citizenship, and deport her. Take a look at this.
I actually spent last week in Minneapolis, and there's two parallel stories. I mean, there is a panic within the Somali community. They've been found out for these massive fraud schemes, daycares, transportation, fake autism services, the whole nine yards. But the political question is very important, and my sources in Minneapolis state government say that there are open inquiries into the potential involvement at the highest level of Minnesota politics. And so I think people will be taking a hard look not only at Governor Tim Walz, but also Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and State Attorney General Keith Ellison. We know that they have connections with convicted fraudsters. The question is, were they merely complicit in these schemes, or were they part of a broader conspiracy? We don't have strong evidence now, but I think people are starting to take a look.
Well, what we do know is that Ellison promised these guys he'd make the investigation go away, and then he got money as a donation. We know that whistleblowers alerted the Walz administration, and he didn't take any action. And we know a couple of these people, like Omar, got money from these convicted fraudsters as political donations. Are you saying that there could have been a conspiracy to move the welfare fraud money into their war chests?
It's certainly possible, and I think the person, and really I'm grateful for it, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, has all the tools at his disposal to actually investigate the money trail, to figure out how the money flowed between these fake nonprofits and Somali fraudsters and Minnesota politicians. And I'll tell you, the atmosphere in Minneapolis was electric. I mean, people had the sense of anticipation. Something big is coming. And look, I hope they get to the bottom of it, because we're talking about, some estimates upward of $9 billion stolen. These politicians seem to, at a minimum, have turned a blind eye to the fraud, or even directed people below them to take steps so that it wasn't uncovered. This scandal is not over, and I think it could end with significant action And again, I think Secretary Bessent is the right man for the job.
Without question, what I want is for them to uncover more and more details as this investigation continues. I realize many people are saying things like, they deserve prison, she needs to be deported, get her out of here. I get all those sentiments, but what I genuinely want is for investigators to collect every bit of evidence they possibly can. I don't want them to. Let me explain why I'm saying this, since I know many of you keep asking. The reason I emphasize this is because I don't want a situation where they discover something relatively small that allows officials to downplay it, brush it aside, and let nothing come of it. I want them to uncover absolutely everything on all these people involved, whether it's Ilhan, Keith, Tim, fraud-related individuals, any Somalis involved, every single person. I want investigators to find all the evidence and ensure it holds up so it can't be swept under the carpet. We need genuine accountability here, especially when it comes to setting a precedent, because you've seen how terrible things are becoming elsewhere, particularly in Ohio as well. Bottom line is that she's in serious trouble. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Reports have emerged that Ilhan Omar tried to funnel $1 million through grants to a Somali substance abuse treatment facility. And that's not all. There are additional actions she's taken. Trust me on this. This is just one example. Watch this.
Covered the other day, and one of our spending bills making its way through Congress was a $1 million earmark from Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, which was an earmark that was supposedly going to a substance abuse clinic, which actually happened to be housed in a restaurant and run by 3 individuals that share the same residential address, according to their IRS paperwork. Tons of red flags. So this is what we saw with the fraud involving the daycare centers. Now we see other earmarks coming directly from members of Congress where it seems fraud is being perpetrated as well. So I raised the issue, and fortunately, the House has now stripped that earmark out of that spending bill. But again, this is how easy money has been flowing.
You can see it clearly. The reality is that more and more evidence keeps emerging, and Ilhan is essentially exposing herself and damaging her own reputation. I won't lie about it. She's making herself look terrible. They're going all out to demonstrate everything. They're revealing so much. You can see it in how they're behaving and what they're doing. Every time they appear on these platforms or give these speeches, there's a report. Omar faces backlash after vulgar criticism of America during immigration policy address. It's absolutely unbelievable, I'll tell you that. Check this out.
The one place where we thought we would never experience this is the U.S. goddamn states.
This just shows she really doesn't care about the United States. See for yourself.
I am really delighted to see so many incredible leaders and so much of our community here. I want to start with a gratitude by thanking the Minnesota Democratic delegation, Senator Amy Klobuchar, Senator Tina Smith, Congresswoman Angie Craig, Congresswoman Betty McCollum, for strongly speaking in opposition to the hate, to the fear-mongering, and for standing up in unity for the Somali community here in Minnesota and across the country.
The truth is, these people aren't really Americans. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Honestly, I don't view them as Americans simply because of their actions and the problems they're creating. What makes me even angrier is that you have actual Americans who are out there demonstrating and doing the absolute most, supporting these individuals who are literally stealing money and doing whatever they please. I absolutely can't stand it. Here's a post from the White House, from President Trump regarding Minnesota. There's excessive media focus on ICE removing some of the most dangerous people, killers and criminals, from around the world. These are people allowed into our country through crooked Joe Biden's disastrous open border policies. Meanwhile, there's insufficient attention being paid to the massive amounts of money being stolen from the state by corrupt Minnesota politicians. It's genuinely disgusting, I'll tell you that. Here's another White House statement. ICE is deporting some of the world's most violent criminals from our nation and returning them to their countries of origin. Minnesota is attempting to prevent this. Do you actually want those people, individuals who are doing these things, out on the streets? It's honestly heartbreaking that people are backing this. Truly heartbreaking and truly revolting. And get this, President Trump recently announced that Ilhan Omar needs to be returned to Somalia because of her involvement in a billion-dollar fraud scheme. President Trump is taking action. He's definitely following through on many things. I'm telling you all, absolutely. It states here there's $19 billion in Minnesota Somali fraud. Fake Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who constantly complains and despises the USA, is aware of everything. She belongs in prison or should face even harsher consequences, sent back to Somalia, which is regarded as one of the absolute worst nations on earth. Perhaps she could contribute to making Somalia great again. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I really appreciate all of you. Much love to everyone. I love you all tremendously and appreciate everything you do. See you in the next video.